Welcome back, everyone. Yes, an interview in person with the social distancing thing.
Yep.
This is Sam Luciano. He, as many of you know, is the president of Fort William Henry. And I've worked with Sam a lot over the past year.
Yeah.
And big news recently, of course, that Americade was moved. Americade is a real engine, especially in the early part of the season for tourism. Instead of canceling, they moved it into July. So I called Sam up and thought, let's cover a lot of bases about not only what's going on with Americade, but also the cooperation between Sam and a lot of the other properties in Warren County about what they're doing, protocols they're putting in place to make certain that guests are protected, and even more importantly, staff. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time. This is a really crazy time.
These are unprecedented.
You know, you and I have been around the block a few times. I never thought we'd see something like this, you know?
Yeah, we have to be psychics because we're making decisions on so many unknowns.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's start with the elephant in the room, okay? Americade. Everybody was on pins and needles. A number of weeks went by. Of course, the Christian and the people at Americade, very sharp people. They know their business. Conference call went really well. We broadcast that conference call, and they moved it. They moved it into July. What are the dates?
July 21st to the 25th.
Okay.
Through the 25th.
You don't have to be a brain surgeon to say, okay, you do it in the early part of June, that's fine. You move it into July, it's a different world here in July. So let's just talk about that. You're the epicenter, Fort William Henry for Americade. How are we going to accommodate the guests?
It was very important that we keep Americade. Americade is very special to the community.
Yeah.
They've been here for 30 plus years. For us and for many businesses, Americade coming in June started the season. It gave us the money for inventories. It gave us the money for training. It gave us the money to really start everything up. So the move to July takes that benefit away from us. But Americade has been an anchor of one of the events for so many years, and we've worked so close with the Dutchers, and they're such great people that we thought it very important that we help them make that decision, whatever way it went. So what did it mean for us for July? We had some challenges because we obviously had bookings. We had a wedding on Saturday, so we had to work around these obstacles. So when Christian announced on Wednesday that Americade was moving till July, we immediately sent out emails from both our hotels, and we got an immediate response. The phones were ringing off the hook. 90% of our guests were just so happy that the event was still going on. They just moved the reservation without issues.
Wow.
We were able to make that transition. Some of them had to change room types, but they did that without any aggravation. Americade, their primary market is that epicenter around New York City. I'd say maybe a 70-mile radius around there, just like our guest. So if you look at that community, they really want to go on vacation. They really want to travel. And Americade has, the draw to Americade is being able to come up here on bike and to ride in the beautiful Adirondacks and have that crisp mountain air and that beautiful lake and the backdrop of these rides. And that's what they're excited for. And the fact that they're doing it in July, there's a huge benefit to them because the weather's going to be better, it's going to be warmer. There's many, many more things that are open that are lake oriented. So it's a good move. It's a really good move.
You know what struck me? The cooperation between all of the properties up here. You were talking about a meeting that you had yesterday, a conference call with guys like Frank at the Earl Lewis, Tom at the Sagamore, Laura for the Kenny properties. How'd that go?
I have the greatest admiration for all of them. To watch this business community come together as one, and it went very well, first of all. And we talked for a couple of hours. And the focus of that meeting was on the safety of our guests and our employees. And we're putting together a best practices sheets that we can give to the smaller properties, the mom and pops, and all of the non-branded properties, because we get a lot of support from the hotel brands and the Marriotts, the Best Westerns, the Holiday Inns, Vinny Cressito. And we're going to share that with the smaller properties to give them what we're doing collectively to give one message so that the Warren County Tourism Department, Gene Merlino, Joanne Conley, can offer to the public that we're putting these safety measures in for both guest and staff.
You know, obviously, filling a hotel room first weekend in June is a different proposition than filling a hotel room in the middle of July, end of July.
Yeah.
There's a cooperative effort amongst all the properties, the larger ones and the mom and pops, about being able to accommodate the number of people who come in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
One thing that we did is to help the Americade with that transition is I don't know if I mentioned this already, but we kept our rates the same. So
That's nice.
we allowed our guests to move from June to July without any rate increase. A lot of them had budgeted already. These Americaders at our property have been coming since the beginning, year
That's
after
right.
year after
Yeah.
year after year. And they're aging a little bit now, some of them. And so they budget and they're on a strict income. And we didn't want the rates to affect their ability to travel. So we did that. So how do we do the masses? It's early enough now in the season that this transition can happen. The booking trend in Lake George is really a shorter cycle with technology, with all the mobile apps now, especially with the online travel agencies, the Expedias and the bookings.
Yeah, sure.
This far out, properties do have availability, will have availability, especially midweek, and that's when they're going to capitalize on the additional revenue. So they will be able to accommodate the Americade influx to reservations.
Now, I've said it a couple of times, Fort William Henry has always been the epicenter, especially because all the vendors and all the different meetings and groups and things meet here in the parking lot. You'll be able to accommodate that?
We will. Again, we have some adjustments to make. We have a lot of meeting space around here. We are gonna move some of the meetings that are in house, if they can even happen. We'll see how these are the unknowns we don't have right now. But Americade is reducing their gathering points. There will be no opening ceremony, no closing ceremony.
Gotcha,
There'll be no comedy club. So a lot of things they've scaled back for this year to accommodate what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and I understand there's quite a bit of cooperation with Bob Blaze and Dennis Dickinson about the events that they'll hold on Canada Street also. You know, again, there are a lot of unknowns out there, but I think the major news is that something that's so important to the local economy, you know, driven by the talent, the expertise of the hotel industry here in our community, makes this kind of thing possible. And boy, oh boy, does that help everybody. You know what, Sam? I want to move into what you're doing here.
Sure.
You're scheduled to open up. I know you. You don't leave any rock unturned, okay? What's being done to secure just the safety for the patrons? What protocols are you putting in place as when you open up next week for the guests and for the staff?
Great. We are opening next week, and one of the reasons we're opening earlier than many of the other properties is we're going to test all these systems and make sure our security measures are tight before we enter into the Memorial Day weekend and our summer season. Some of the things that we're doing is we have already been using UV rays to sanitize rooms as in the high-touch areas. We have purchased much larger scale units. I'll just talk about our housekeeping for a minute. So when a guest comes and stays with us, the room will not be serviced during the stay-over process. Upon checkout, that room will sit for 72 hours before one of our staff enters. We have put together a new department called a disinfecting department. They will enter with this UV device, and they're so strong that they can't stay in the room with it. They'll activate it, it'll run for 20 minutes, and that will kill any type of virus in there. They run at 280 nanometers for the techies out there. And then when they depart, housekeeping will go in and clean the room. Once they're done cleaning, the disinfecting team will go back in with our UV wands, and they'll again introduce UV to the high-touch areas and the new amenities and whatnot that we're putting in the room. The room will then be sealed with tape saying that this room has been sanitized to make sure nobody enters that before the next guest. That's one measure we're putting in place. Our restaurants have other measures. We're getting away from cloth napkins. We're going to paper, many disposable things. We're getting away from laminated menus to paper menus. Everything has to be disposable upon touch of a guest.
Well, again, you know, I wanted to make a joke about it, but you're really not. That's exceptional, Sam. It really is. That secures the safety of not only the guest, but let's face it, all of us here that live in the community secures our safety. These people are coming from areas that have seen more outbreak than we have in our own community here, and securing the fact that they will have a safe vacation and that the people here will be able to service them in a safe environment is really key.
These measures will be around for a long time, I believe.
Yeah, you know, I think you're right about that.
And I don't think it's a bad thing. And that's just what the Fort Wayne Henry Corporation is doing. Yesterday on our conference call, the Marriott is doing other great measures,
Right.
and many of them, the Holiday Inn. But we are offering this safe environment for our guests and staff.
Yeah, right. I didn't want to get into the weeds on this thing that you brought here because I'm thinking Star Wars, okay? You know, I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking I either need to put suntan lotion on or maybe I should just head for the hills. You know, I'm not sure. But this UV treatment is there's a lot to be said for that. And the fact you made that investment is enormous. And I think it plays right to the safety issue, but I also think it plays to the fact that we don't know how long this is going to go on.
Correct.
So let's just put these measures in place.
Yep.
And it certainly will help everybody. I got time, Sam, just any message. You've been in business a long time. You're one of the leaders in the community. What do you say? What do you want to say?
I've been here 35 years for a reason. We live in an absolutely beautiful, pristine area. For all of our viewing audience, we are going to offer a safe, clean Warren County to travel with. You can feel comfortable coming here. We're going to keep you safe. We're going to keep our staff safe. And enjoy the summer, enjoy your travels.
All right, elbow bump?
Elbow bump.
Okay, pal.
Thank you,
Great to
Jeff.
see you, and thank you so much. A lot of very valuable information there. Best of luck to you. Okay?
Thank you very much.
See this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.